The greater signs before the day of judgment, some of the ulama like to differ in the numbers. Some say 10, some say 12, some say 15, depending on how you break up the different signs. Some of the ulama will also say that the Prophet ﷺ in his advent, meaning his nabuwat, when it was descended upon him or revealed upon him, that was actually the first sign, because every prophet warned of another prophet to come, right? The last prophet. So as he is the last prophet, that means that Qiyamah should be right after him. And this is a hadith of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam where he put his index finger and his middle finger together and says that me and Qiyamah are like this, that it was very close, that it almost happened before me, meaning that the Qiyamah was so close to him in his advent that you can almost say that Qiyamah is going to happen almost immediately after him, right? So this is the last stage of human beings on the face of the earth, or rather this is the last stage of the Muslims on the face of the earth, which inevitably mean Qiyamah. So some people count that as the first sign. And another narration, when we talked about the six things that will happen to this ummah, that the Prophet ﷺ says that my death, right? This is amongst the first things that will happen to this ummah. So some of the ulama might even count the death of the Prophet ﷺ as one sign. Amongst the indisputed signs, the first sign of Qiyamah, the first greater sign of Qiyamah, is actually the appearance of the Mahdi. And this is why I've been saying in a couple of the other videos that the signs for the Mahdi are actually more important than that of the Dajjal. Because once you see that the signs are leading towards the arrival of the Mahdi, the rightly guided one from the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's lineage, then all the other signs will become apparent and you won't necessarily need any other guidance for the other signs. What that means is that the Muslims are supposed to join the Mahdi wherever he is on the face of the earth. And the Prophet ﷺ said, to such an extent, to such a fervor, that even if you had to cross over ice, right, to crawl over ice, you should go join the Mahdi. So once you're in the guidance and the companionship of the Mahdi, because he is rightly guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he would let you know what to do with the following signs afterwards. So clearly he's the number one sign, right? This will become apparent to only the knowledgeable people. And so this is kind of a shart, this is kind of a condition that shows that maybe not everyone will be able to recognize the Mahdi, right? Because there's been so many false claims of people being the Mahdi throughout history, and only the people who recognize the signs that will lead up to the Mahdi can truly say that he's the Mahdi, so on and so forth. But of course, those signs, when we talk about him in more in-depth discussion, we'll see that they're clearly obvious and it's not very hard to distinguish that. So the first sign is the Mahdi in his appearance. The second one will be the appearance of the Dajjal, and the appearance of the Dajjal is so significant that, subhanallah, many of the people who are listening to these videos, they've been waiting for this keyword, right? This is why many of the people are actually paying attention to the minor signs and the greater signs, because they're so scared and worried about the Dajjal. And this is something that is like a double-edged sword. Yes, we should be concerned about the Dajjal, but some people become so obsessed with it and almost excited about it. This actually goes contrary to what the Prophet ﷺ taught us. So the Dajjal will appear. The third one is that the true Masih, Isa alayhi salam, will descend on the face of the earth, and he is the third sign, right? He is one of those signs that you can definitely not reject, right? Many people will see him, they'll come into the fold of Islam. Many people will convert from the religions, right? The return of Jesus Christ, right? We use the word Christ because Christos comes from the word Masih, which is the Messiah essentially, right? So we believe in that quality and sifat of him. So Isa alayhi salam is amongst the third sign. After this, rather, then we have the appearance of Yajuj Majuj, which is number 4. Number 5 will be that a fire or a smoke will arise. Of course, these are not all in order, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when they're going to happen. The destruction of the Kaaba, the sun rising from the west, I believe that's 7. The beast emerging from the earth, 8. The 9th one is the wind will take the souls of the believer. 10 is that the Quran will be taken up into the heavens, that no trace of the Quran will be remaining on the face of the earth, including the death of scholars who have understanding of the Quran. Then the fire will drive the people to the last gathering. And then finally the trumpet will be blown. Some of the ulama, or different things allude to it in the Quran and the Hadith, that there'll be 3 trumpets that will be the trumpet will be sounded 3 times. or in other narrations 2 times depending on context, right? One is for all the people on the face of the earth to die, second one is for the recreation or the resurrection, and the third one is for the day of judgment happening. Some people say the third one is for the resurrection in itself, so on and so forth. But these are just semantics in the long run. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best how many times. So you see here already there's about 10 to 15 signs depending on how you count it, right? If you count the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam first receiving his nubuwwat, then his passing, and then of course a very big gap in between until the appearance of the Mahdi, the Dajjal, then the Isa alayhi salam, then Yajuj Majuj, destruction of the Kaaba, the sun rising from the west, the beast from the earth, the smoke, the wind taking the souls of the believers, the Quran being lifted, a fire taking people to their gathering place, and then essentially the trumpet that will end it all. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim alayhi.